And then I sit there all grumpy on the couch.
This is why I alienate myself from pop culture.
Look, though,
That is a smart move. I'm starting to think that is a smart move.
I've been going through recently thinking about video game stuff and like going through. I was just talking about this with somebody else a couple weeks ago, and the old Nintendo Power magazines and like getting your you would get like the each issue a month, and that's pretty much where you'd find out shit.
Yeah.
Like, here's a code. This works, and you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. And then somebody else was talking to me about like the April Fool's issues that would come out, and they would have fake codes, and how you would like re-rent games to try and use the code. Like there was one that you could use. You could play as Simon from Castlevania in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
And the guy's like, that's awesome. So you re-rent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And at that point, you basically your option is to write a letter
Yeah, exactly.
and say this is terrible and mean.
That's right.
And then send it in the mail. Because you can't go online and verify that it doesn't work or that you're doing something wrong. It's awesome. Now kids just... Here's the thing. And this is what I was falling into, right?
Yeah.
You're like old curmudgeon-y thing. So I'm like, I'm sitting here going, these kids don't know how easy they got it.
Yeah.
But the argument... Here's the thing. When I was a kid, the argument was my dad saying... Oh, we used to have 3 channels. You had to get up and turn the station. Now you have a remote control. Now you got like hundreds of channels. And so I'm thinking... But that's not really a correlation between, okay, now we have multiple channels and we have a remote control. Literally now kids have everything all the time in their hand.
Yes.
All the time,
Yes.
everything, all the time.
Yes.
Well,
everything.
Everything to a negative extent.
Exactly.
It includes everything that is wrong, too.
Exactly.
True.
It's everything.
Yeah,
all the time, always.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So the
believe me, I
excremental jump is crazy.
Excremental.
That's not
Best
what I meant.
Freudian slip ever.
I guess it works, right? How about incremental?
No.
Excremental?
Not anymore.
Does that combine both?
Yes.
Excremental jump. Because it's huge and it's a pile of shit.
Well, it sends you flying in the air.
That's right. You just build up.
It's the you don't jump. It's the excremental jump.
Oh, boy. Welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superpro 33.
I'm Craig Dresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Excellent.
Good.
Good times.
How are
Is
you?
it? I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Working, living,
for a living,
working,
or the weekend.
working for a living and a working.
Oh, okay, nice.
You know, I will say I'm taking what they're giving because I'm working for a living.
Wow, that's very big of you.
That's what I can. That's all I can do. I love it. Why do I have to do that all the time?
Do what?
Like finish those like song lyrics that are terrible
'Cause
songs. And is that
You're
Huey
obsessive.
Lewis? It is. It is Huey Lewis.
Sure. Did he originally do it?
I have no idea.
This is
Working for a living is
riveting.
Huey Lewis. Everybody should want to know about this, don't they?
Everybody right now is looking it up.
I'm trying to think of the
That's how it
song
works.
actually in my head. And I'm only getting
They finished.
bits and
They figured it
pieces
out 10 seconds ago.
Video games.
because it keeps coming up. Work
Is that
hard
what we're here for?
Keeps
That's
coming
what
up
we're
as
here
work
for.
hard for the money. So you better treat her right.
No.
I'm like, that's not it.
She works hard for the money,
Yes, but that's the
She
song.
does.
And I'm like, that's not. It keeps.
And
it's like
did
a
she
remix.
put on a red dress tonight?
Wait, now we're totally.
though. You know, what I wanted to say is this message goes out to Roxanne.
Yeah.
And you don't have to turn on the red light.
It's all about making money.
Should we talk about some video games?
Sure.
Because I don't know what the hell this just was for like
All right.
3 minutes.
It was more fun.
That was
That's true. I quit the regular show. That's
that was,
what
a,
we're doing from
that
now
was
on.
a vocal mashup.
And it's not,
Crap up.
and for some reason it's not as entertaining as it sounds like it would be.
No, it was.
All right.
It was entertaining.
Video games. I got a couple to talk about. I played
Okay.
the disc game, a couple disc games. I played some Fuse. Sean and I played some Fuse a little
Yes.
bit, and Remember Me.
Okay.
And I also checked out State of Decay
Yes.
on XBLA.
As
I
well.
think that's it. Oh, I finished out whatever that Old West game was that I can't remember. Call of
Gunslinger.
Juarez, Gunslinger. That's it.
The one that you liked a
and
lot.
I loved it
2 weeks ago.
That I can't remember. Well,
That
it's
Old West game.
an entire 2 weeks ago, to be fair. So
I'm done with it.
So that's
we're in 2015 now, right?
mind wipe. All right, what do you guys got?
That's so 2 weeks ago. I went ahead and tried out the Fuse demo actually after the last show. So I guess I can join in a little bit with that. But played a little bit of State of Decay, played a lot of CastleStorm, so I'll be throwing a bunch of stuff in there.
Okay,
nice.
And then I got a couple indie games to touch on.
Cool.
I returned to CastleStorm. When I first played it, I didn't really care for it, but
it's a game that grows on you.
Yeah, and it did. But I played a little bit of that. Stayed pretty much the same as you guys did. Little some indie stuff.
It was a slow couple of
Yeah.
weeks.
I tried to dive back in, and this is real quick. I tried to dive back into that Resident Evil.
Yeah.
It was working really well.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Came to a spot, and I was done with it. I was done with it. It was just the weirdest, like
Spiders, giant spiders.
No, it wasn't giant spiders. But it was just it was a fighting part where I got locked in a room and I just couldn't get myself out of it, and it was just.
Did you try the door?
Yes, and then it was shut.
Did you try a vent?
No, because those were all shut. So
you were just no good at it and gave up.
pretty much, yeah. It was like one of those.
Clear.
Like it was like 2 or 3 different retries, and then finally I was like, I am not fucking cut off of this. I was like, what is going on?
I got no skills.
And it was weird up until that point. I was really happy with that game. So.
Oh well.
And that's all I got to say about
What are you gonna
that.
do? All right. Well, let's just move in then to the games. There's a lot of more Xbox One info that came out this week, or some clarifications, I guess, that came out. But I'm gonna save it all because
we got E3.
E3's next week or this coming week. This week, as you're listening to the show, hopefully. So next episode we're gonna have more E3. next episode we're gonna have more E3 than Craig wants to even hear.
Yes.
So some E3, any E3,
tons of it. So we'll address it all then when hopefully there's even more information, and we can all cry together.
I'm gonna have a sit-in.
We can all have a big cry
Yeah.
over Xbox One.
I might
Not that they're forcing us.
I
to
might
take
bring
it.
a soapbox with me.
Do
just
it.
in case.
Do it. I'll bring
To
it
the
taller.
side.
Is there going to be some soap inside of it?
I'll have a bigger
No.
soapbox.
It's like,
I thought that would be too big of a change.
Yeah, I'd have to carry it upstairs
I'm doing mine from a tub.
from a tub.
I don't know what that means, but
Are you going to thump it?
no, please don't. I'm not. Stop with the Chumbawamba. That's what we're getting into now.
Tub
out.
thumping was a phrase a long time before
I'm
Chumbawamba.
out.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. I'm locked into the music stuff.
I know,
Sorry.
and the 90s.
You get knocked down.
Get back up again. Indie games. Start it, somebody.
Okay.
Put a stop to this.
I'm going to start it off with the chickening.
Okay. I don't know if that's a good idea.
From Software Soft. Sells for 80 Microsoft points. It's a platformer shooter. What attracted me to it was it's got that sort of collage, real artwork style that we had with things like Oh No's, which was about a giant chicken that shot lasers out of its eyes and stuff.
Oh no.
Similar sorts of things there. It is some, in that same vein. I like that collage style a lot, but a lot of times it's just used for goofy comedic.
Yeah.
Look how bizarre this stuff is.
Right.
I mean, they had like a little tank that was a lop-eared rabbit that would slide along and then shoot carrots out and stuff. So
I think I saw one of the screenshots and it had like a wolf-headed person.
yeah, something.
And I was like,
they got some crazy stuff in there.
It was weird looking. It was a weird screenshot.
I really like that weird stuff. But a lot of times, as in with this one, it's just meant for kind of comedic effect and all that. It was decent. The controls were a little hard to get under control. Ironically,
We're a little lacking.
I even went to the pause screen to see if there was like a control menu, like a layout, so I could figure it out, but there wasn't. So it's a very minimal game, and because apparently there's a shooting button which you can hold down, and then there's also like if you press Y, it also shoots lasers out of the chicken, but in a spread format, and so I couldn't quite. And aiming was a little difficult because it's those sort of Contra style aimings, where you're using the left stick to both move and aim at the same time. And yeah, it wasn't bad. I fell a lot, which was kind of a pain. It did have little checkpoints, but it was hard finding a way to kill myself. You had like a ton of lives.
Oh, really?
You had like this whole line of lives up at the top. It was pretty ridiculous. I don't know. It was kind of fun if you like that art style and if you like little platformers. Cool. Check it out.
Cool. I tried out Get Your Cell Together. It sold for 80 points from GigaWeb. So this is one of those cell growth games that I'm not used to. Craig was telling about it before the show.
Yes.
I'm not too used to them. I tried it out, and me being the genius that I am and not pay attention to screen things.
Oh, so that was sarcastic.
I floated. Yeah, of course. If I ever say that I'm a genius, it's very.
Well, I was confused because you are wearing your mortarboard.
Yeah,
He is. But that's just because he likes to brush the tassel out of his face.
well,
That's true.
you know.
Does attract the attention.
I like to throw it. I feel important at the end. Like, yay!
I did it.
I did it. So, I spent the most of the part of the game. It starts off the trial. You're just a little cell, and you're on. You have the screen. There's one little virus, and he's bouncing around trying to get you.
Oh,
and
ah.
not chasing you, just kind of bouncing around, moving erratically. Well, I didn't know that you had to hit X to make your cell grow. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going around. So I thought I had to build my energy meter as in time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So me playing that game at first really was kind of like, I was like, this game is weird.
I don't even do anything.
Just to clarify,
anything.
did a box pop up on the screen that said press X to grow your cell?
I think it did early
I think it did too. I didn't play it. I will clarify. I didn't play it, but I think it did as well.
I think it did early on. That was me. That was the genius of me. But once I went to the menus and found out that you hit X, you spam X, and you have about 5 or 6 until you grow into a bigger cell, and then the game's over. But what this has is they'll set up different there was one that actually had a maze in it. So you had to go through the maze, and I was like totally spamming. So then I was too big to go
through the corridors.
Yes, and so there was something
that was going.
Yeah, it was really I liked it. I had a lot of fun with the game. Yeah, but once I got the hang of it, it kind of kept me going until the time ran out.
So you just by pressing X, you're making the cell grow.
Yeah.
See, that's very different than a lot of the other cell growing games out there, because usually it's a game of balancing of like trying to absorb the smaller guys without the bigger guys absorbing you. And so what was the purpose of growing the cell?
Really, you just grew it to it had I think it was about 5. You'd have a energy meter at the top, and once you filled that, you would grow another cell. And once you completed that, it looked like almost like 6 of those sitting on top of each other, making a larger cell.
Yeah, you're dividing.
And then the game would just end. Huh. So you were trying to avoid these little viruses trying to capture you and things like that.
So you're trying to do it undisturbed.
Yep.
Okay.
And there were some neat ones where you could kind of hide behind a little, there'll be like little walls. It reminded me of the old Atari 2600 game, the Tanks and Planes game.
Yeah.
Where you and it had a map almost exactly like that. So I just sat in that corner and just spammed that button. But like I was saying with that maze one, that one came up and this ocean of blood is chasing you down.
Oh, okay.
And so you're trying to get through that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm almost there, and I'm like, wait, I'm not almost there because now I'm dead and I can't get through this maze. So I thought it was a really interesting game. I had a lot of fun.
Hey,
with
it's got
it.
an ocean of blood.
Yeah, it does.
I'm in.
Those go a long
Oceans
way.
of blood.
Yeah, but 80 points from GigaWeb. It's worth checking out. Yeah.
Thanks, Sean.
The music wasn't too bad for it either.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. I believe just this morning popped up Aqua Kitty Milk Mine Defender, which I tried out and purchased from Tiki Pod, 240 Microsoft points.
I had a lot of fun with this morning.
I did not see it.
It's a really well, like I said, it just came up. It's a really classic style game. In both graphic quality, it's probably 1632-bit.
About 30, I would say,
32.
around 32. Yeah.
It's got a really nice sort of chiptune soundtrack, but it's not really. A lot of games purport retro style gameplay and all that, but this really feels that way. It's those simplistic controls put in a way that is actually very, very challenging. But you always feel like, if I just did that a little better, I could have done it.
Like Mega Man style.
Exactly, that thing that always pushes you to go back and bash your head against that wall again.
I know that jump can be made, but you got to do it right.
It's also very silly. The basic idea is that the milk resources have been depleted, and so all the cats are very sad.
Silly to you, but it sounds like it'd be important to them.
Exactly. Well, and
you're trivializing it.
And then they find these deposits under the sea.
Yes.
So they send these
now it's silly.
miners down there to pump it out. Problem is that these miners are being attacked by robo-fish.
Yeah, deep water robots.
Yeah. So there's these fish, and so you pilot a sub to protect the miners from these robo-fish.
Are you a cat?
You are a cat as well. Yes. A little tiny cat, and when your sub blows up, then you're just kind of floating there in the water. So you control the sub. It's pretty simple. You use the left stick to control your movement. You use the shoulder buttons to flip your direction.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, it very simple, very simple. You have a basic shot, which was it X or A? I don't remember. Not that that's super important.
I think it's just A.
But you also have like a super shot that only has a small charge. It'll recharge over time. But as you progress through the game, you unlock basically your bar lengthens, so you have more super shot, which goes rapid fire and all that. But that's basically, I mean, that's the majority of it there. It's one screen. It loops around though.
That's what I really loved about that. I thought that was a
very
really
nice.
cool gameplay aspect.
What I really like is that it's got those old, again another retro feature, a map at the top with just little colored dots on it moving around, and so you can keep track of your miners, because in the first one you just have one miner that you're protecting. But in later levels,
one pump.
In later levels you have two pumps, and so you have to kind of protect them, because there are regular robo-fish that are just kind of shooting and trying to attack the sub basically, but then you have to watch out for those motherfucking robo jellyfish that try to kidnap the miners, and then you can hear them, and then they're dragging them up to the top, and you have to blast them before they get away with the miner. But they appear as little red dots on the screen, and so I'm constantly watching the map for anyone coming in, because those fuckers will go across. They'll go across the Pac-Man gap, as I like to call it. Think of it, that loops around the screen, and so they'll go to the other side away from you. And they keep adding a lot of enemies in there. And there's not a lot. I mean, it's not like you earn points and you spend the points on upgrading your ship or anything like that. You get some natural progression for the super shot, and then later you get a goldfishy robot fish that can run into you, by the way. They're not friendly, but you shoot them and they'll drop a power up, which can be some health. Backup. So temporary backup. So these two little cats in like deep sea diving suits are floating around your sub and shooting along with you.
Nice.
So you get basically triple shot. And then also a bomb, which you grab and just like shoots out thousands of missiles in directions all around you and hits anything in the vicinity. A lot of fun and very challenging. I got to like level 4 and I was having a hard time getting through saving both of the miners on there. Yeah. And those high scores are hard to get to, because as you shoot, you increase a multiplier, of course, and it keeps track of the multiplier. But instead of being like a multiplier where it's like, shoot somebody else within 4 seconds or else it goes to 0. Instead, it's like 1 second, but it doesn't go to 0. It just decreases, like it starts stepping back down. And so if you want to get a high score, then you have to keep basically blasting everybody in sequence.
Cool.
To keep it going up and up and up. And that's basically it. There's apparently an infinite mode. Because on the map they have like different regions, and one it has infinite, so it's just infinite gameplay going through wave on wave on wave on.
Nice.
Whereas most of them have a set limit of waves.
I like that too, because it's usually around 4 or so. And it keeps track of what you need to kill, because you'll see a bunch of enemies on the screen, but as long as you kill what you need to, and then you just move on to the next. But I love that looping aspect of it, because when that second pump showed up, I was just like I'm like, great, I got to go back and forth. Yeah. And then when I went through the map and came out the other side, I'm like, now we're talking. It's because it had that old school vibe to it, like old games have, and that map that's fantastic. Yeah, it helps out a lot.
And the sounds are great.
Yeah,
the music's great. The art style's great.
I mean,
very enjoyable.
Fine, I'll check it out.
It had a really nice like vibe to it. The only thing I didn't care for were like and that was for the trial, and you can get over that. But it's just that little cat that was like, buy the game, and I'm like,
the sad cat.
Yeah, the sad cat.
Because they make fun of cat movies too.
It's just like, buy the game. I'm like, I might. I'm like, but that's not helping me.
You saw it once.
Yeah, I thought it. They showed the same one a couple different
Just treat
times.
it like instructions in a game and don't read it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a cat.
Just ignore it like you do everything else that
face.
tells you what to do.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it's very
awesome. All right, are we done with Indie?
That's it. Although keep your eye on Indie in the next week or so, because Z-Boyd Games' Penny Arcade 4 should be coming out.
Nice.
Sometime soon. It just came out on PC, and so I guess it's going through whatever process of approval for release on indie games.
Awesome. Cool.
Yes.
I'm sure you're excited for that.
I am very excited.
I still have never played 3.
3 was fantastic, and I saw a trailer video for 4, and it looks even better.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good news.
Very.
I'm glad to see those on the indie game too instead of XBLA. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that option, and it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Because wouldn't they be $10 or more on probably XBLA?
At least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, the first 2 penny arcades were $20 a piece.
exactly. And then
The
what?
ones- the
$5?
ones by Hothead. Yeah.
Whoops.
Better decision. Awesome. All right, let's move on to XBLA. I'm going to touch back real quick on Call of Juarez Gunslinger.
Okay.
I remember the title.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. I love it.
Star.
I finished
It is
out the
good.
game. I played it twice.
Nice.
Believe that shit.
Wow.
I played it, went right back into it, and played it on hard. And then I'm going to start it over. And I'm going to play on that whatever True West or whatever. I can't remember what it's called.
That's True West. Yeah.
Where they take away all of your
HUD.
crosshairs, your HUD. You can't
Ooh.
see any of your stuff. I'm like, I'm going to try this. And then I got like 3 minutes in. I'm like, fuck this. It is ridiculous. You can't shoot anybody. You can't shoot anybody.
Well,
You have no crosshairs.
You can use the sights.
What? From like far away? It was terrible. I couldn't do it. It's not for me
Are you
at
doing it
all.
on
I
New Game
couldn't
Plus?
do it at
Don't you
all.
have your skills?
Yeah, it don't matter. I was getting shot everywhere.
that's funny.
It was terrible. You have to be so close because I couldn't hit anybody.
I see.
Here's the thing. You probably have to be either close or take time.
Oh,
And so I'm running through. I just got done with hard, and my guy's all maxed out, and I'm kind of just like pimping everything.
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm running through like a fucking badass. And now I get into this mode, and I'm like, I got to really slow down.
Yeah.
That probably would
yeah.
help.
Well, you know what it might be? You might need to play better.
I did that. It didn't work.
Nice.
I played.
that already.
I played awesome.
I did that already.
So I even went more better than better.
Did you try the other modes out? The arcade and the.
I did a little
dual
bit more
mode?
on arcade because I had only gone through like the first mode
Yeah.
or the first stage. I
First
went through a
stage,
couple more stages. That seems odd to me. You guys have like you and somebody else on my friends list had like crazy scores, and I couldn't even get close to them.
You just got to keep the multiplier going, and so.
I had a hard time with that though.
Well,
I think I'm not very
What
good.
you got to do is
Be better. I know you already used it.
no, actually, you have to improve your character because it's not the same character that you have from
Right.
the regular game. They have skills, but you have to unlock the skills by playing.
So
through
what I was
arcade.
wondering,
okay.
because what it doesn't tell me is, did you play that first level like a bunch of times?
Not a ton of times. I mean, another thing is that I played as Ranger. I don't know how you played it.
Okay, I don't remember what I played as.
Because Ranger has all the long range skills, and so I mostly pick people off from a far away, and then I can.
You know what
can
else
get
helps too
headshots
is that
and
you
stuff.
can continue your multiplayer by hitting objects.
Yes,
So
you
like
have to do that,
barrels
too.
and like pumpkins and bottles and
Yes.
things that are around. You get little five
Correct.
point experience
But it
points
keeps
for them.
the
But it
multiplier
keeps the
timer
multiplayer
going.
timer going.
Yeah.
And so I think once I started doing that more and kind of being aware of that, it kind of got me through those moments where I was waiting on a guy to show up.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that helped a little bit.
It does also require sometimes just rushing forward with like a shotgun ready or something.
Yeah,
to just pump somebody.
Right, and I got through that too, where I was like, I just need to move fast through
Yeah.
this and keep seeing people.
Yeah.
So I did that. I went into the duels. I started fucking around with like that achievement for shooting a chicken before you shoot the guy,
Yeah.
and then I got all mad because I couldn't do it.
Hold on. Doesn't have to be a chicken.
A bird.
Shoot a bird.
Right.
Don't go for the chickens, man.
Okay.
There's a later one with the old guy. There's that buzzard.
I was
sitting
trying
right
to do
over
that
his
and I
fucking
couldn't get
shoulder.
it, and it was making
Really?
me mad. Yeah.
You have to
I'm
cheat.
dumb. Okay.
You have to draw before he draws.
Maybe that'll help.
That's you can't do it.
I've been trying to do it like real. And I
You
was
trying
like,
to do it
"Fuck this."
honorably?
Yes.
No, you can't do it.
I'm gonna do it cool and honorably.
No.
Like I'm not only gonna be this honorable in this duel, I'm gonna take out that bird before you, old man. That's right. I did it
you
clean,
and your hubris.
clean, and took you all out. And fuck that bird.
Could you move more to the left? I want to shoot through you into that bird. Is that okay?
Here's what's gonna happen, old man. You're gonna draw first, and then I'm gonna kill that bird, and then you.
By the way, can I use a shotgun in this duel?
Also, none of that worked. So I've been trying to go through the other modes.
So cheat.
On the third time I went through and I had done that True West, I switched it back so I could just max out my ability so I could
sure,
get that
yeah.
achievement. But yeah, it was still a ton of fun. And
It's
and
super
last time I
fun,
was complaining about not having, the sights weren't weren't automatic. But as you said, once you start moving into those other
They
areas and
snap.
those
They
skills,
snap almost too much.
well, and you instantly get your concentration back
Yeah.
because it's like if you do a headshot, you almost fill that thing right up
Right.
again.
Well, and then you can go into and burn that concentration to do automatic head.
yeah,
more
and then it
shots
fills it
on
up again.
people. Yeah.
So it was almost a constant like state of concentration, which
Right.
was awesome.
Yeah.
It just that second playthrough.
That's why you don't get it at the beginning because honestly, you're going to be inundated with
And then,
that
like,
shit towards the end.
I totally didn't mess around with my dynamite abilities And there was that one that allows you to split it.
Oh yeah, I use that all the time.
You can split like one dynamite into 3 dynamites and they all blow up.
That's how I deal with most of the bosses.
Yeah.
I just hide behind things and throw dynamite over it.
Once I did that, it was no problems.
You have 15 dynamite.
Like, this is ridiculous. So yeah, it was it's fun when you go through the first time, and then like the arcade factor of it when they give you all those power-ups and you become super powerful, it's even more fun. Because you're just like cleaning everybody up like left and right.
And so it fits with the theme of sort of tall tales.
Yeah, the over-the-top storytelling. So it's a great game. I still believe that it was just like a fantastic purchase.
Yeah, I mean to go back to it. It's just I didn't. I was playing other things.
Like what?
I was playing CastleStorm.
All right.
Yeah. So we received a review copy from
Zen
Studios. It sells normally for 800 Microsoft points. So this is Zen Studios, the people who normally give you your semi-annual pinball crack fix. Right?
Semi-monthly.
Semi-monthly.
Pretty much.
So CastleStorm is not pinball.
It is not.
It is not. Now, when you were telling me, Jeremy, about the game, you said you were like, "Oh, it's kind of a physics game. It's kind of like Angry Birds, it's something like that."
It's
right?
like an Angry. I think I said it's sort of a mix of like Angry Birds and like a Tower Defense Force, and then kind of like Toy Soldiers, and kind of it's a mix of all these kind of games.
Yeah. And I heard that, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this.
That sounds terrible.
But I tried it out, and it has grown the hell on me.
Yeah.
It's like a barnacle on me.
Yeah.
Can't get it off.
I see it. I wasn't going to say anything because I was, I want to embarrass you. But
so it's a very interesting game. It's set in sort of fantasy medieval times, and there's this backstory where there's this kingdom, and there's the Vikings, and they used to be at war, and then they got these 2 gemstones that are really powerful and allow the rulers of the kingdoms basically to continue living. And so war ended, but then all of a sudden somebody's stolen the gemstone from the kingdom, and so we're off to seek it, and turns out it was those Vikings. Damn the Vikings. And so
people.
You mostly play as this knight who is an expert on the ballista. And here's the interesting thing about the game. It is insanely complicated, but at the same time, it is really simple. How does that work?
I don't know. I will tell you, though, that's when I looked at it, and I'm like, Craig's going to like this game, and that was because it looked complicated. And not to say you like complicated, but there's a lot.
At first, I was like, fuck this.
There's a lot to manage.
Yeah. There is.
And so I think of games that you play, and you kind of like that once you get into it.
Yeah, once I got in.
Exactly. Yeah. And I look at it, and I'm like, I'm not going to like this at all.
Well, let me explain all that goes into it. So basically, you control 15 different elements during each battle.
And that's what I saw when I looked at it.
You control a ballista, which you fire. You aim using your left stick, and you fire using A. So you have 3 choices. You have your ballista projectiles. You have your troop, whatever the word for letting troops go is, deployments.
Deployments. There you go. You're welcome.
Why am I thanking
You're welcome, Craig.
And then you have your spells as well. You can switch between those by pressing corresponding buttons X, A, and B. X, A, and Y, and it'll flip those around. And then, so basically Y to go to spells, and then you press Y again to use the spell. A to go to projectiles, and press A again to fire the projectile. X, you get it. And then you select between the 5 different ones by using the shoulder buttons to jockey back and forth
within each of those categories. There's different options.
Yes, exactly. And really complicated, basically. And so there are 2 win states for most of the levels, wherein you can either knock down the opponent's castle entirely, although that's not true in the beginning because they're training you a lot in the beginning. Or you can knock down their door and send a troop in to grab the flag and bring it all the way back to your place. Similarly, if they knock down all of your castle, you're done. Or if they steal your flag, you're done. Sounds really complicated, but you don't have to play it that complicated if you don't want to. In the beginning, this was kind of a negative for me because I'm like, I'm totally not using like troops or anything. Like that.
You're just like, you feel like you're not even using it. You're not playing the game how they want you to.
Right. I'm like, there's this whole aspect that I'm told, and part of it, I wish they had done a little more with tutoring.
Thank you.
They do a They do a pretty decent job of tutoring for stuff.
I didn't feel that way.
But not for troop deployment, like troop strategy, and then also for building castles. There wasn't a heck of a lot. I mean, the ballista stuff and the spells, those are pretty straightforward, but you know, it's really hard to figure out how to get use troops very well.
I ran into a problem playing the demo real quick, just while we're talking about this.
Please do.
And that was that I just felt like it wasn't giving me enough tutorial information when we were at the beginning level.
Sure.
And I don't know how since you played the full game, I don't know if it's any different.
Yeah, neither do I.
But in the demo, you play that initial opening, what I imagine would be the opening thing, where they kind of explain things as you're going, but they're like, okay, now deploy troops. And so those troops are down there when you're selecting the 3 different troops you can use based on the amount of money you have.
Right.
But they don't really tell you what those troops do.
No, that
like I didn't see
that
anything.
one is in the full game that just throw you in sort of thing. And basically you don't get any of that information.
And the ballista's there, and they have like 5 different things you can choose from, and they say, okay, now attack the castle, but they don't tell you, oh, these 5 different things, this is what they do.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to like play around with it. And so I was trying to do that while managing at the same time, like moving around on the screen and like, oh, I got to worry about these troops. And so it felt overwhelming because it wasn't like a pause in the action to say, here's what all of these pieces do. Sure. This is like a heavier like an attack thing. It sends 3 of these things, you know, that final cannon kind of thing, whatever it is on the attack option. You know, there's an apple in there. Is that like a health thing?
No, that's an apple grenade.
Okay. See, they don't tell you anything.
No.
So it was weird.
Calm down.
I'm calm.
Because we're
producing radio here.
They do all that. Absolutely. And then they strip that all away and start from basics and tutor you on everything. And then you unlock things, and they always tell you...
Oh, so it's the classic old, like, you start as Metroid, and here's everything you have now. You have no weapons.
Exactly.
Nice.
You'll have all those later.
Look at all this crazy shit. Now we're going to teach you how to do this, so it's less panic-inducing.
Now I forgive them.
I thought you might.
But that was, like, so much overwhelming. That's a bad first impression in my opinion, because I mean, it's nice that I see all that stuff, but I'm like... I immediately am jumping in going, holy shit, I can't deal with this.
Yeah. That was my first impressions from the game. And that's when I returned to it and played it again, it was a totally different experience for me. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the game.
I think it's pretty darn fun. And I mean, basically what I was doing was, for a lot of levels, I was just kind of relying on my ballista initially. Now, however, I mean, because you earn gold for every level. And you can upgrade things as well.
Okay.
And so you spend your gold on upgrades. And now I'm going through... Actually, I just finished getting all the stars in the game, actually, which requires you to play on hard. And the biggest difference... I mean, of course, the enemy troops are a little tougher.
Yeah.
But also, you don't get that guide line on the ballista, so you kind of have to figure that out, which can mess with your... Hold on.
I have a hard enough time using it with the line.
It forced me to strategize. That forced me actually to rely on troops a lot in order to deal with anyone on the ground, and I was only using the ballista to shoot at the castle, and so it's fucking hard not to get 100% when you're shooting at the fucking castle.
Right.
You know, and so it as it develops, like you can play it as simply as you want, or you can play it more complex, in a more complex way. And there are definitely a neat variety of things to use, both in terms of characters and in projectiles and spells. There's the kingdom side, and you also unlock Viking stuff as well.
Nice.
Most of which is just kind of a copy of the kingdom stuff, but there are a few variations.
Cool.
And yeah, it was actually a huge time suck for me. I was playing it a lot.
Which is a good thing.
Like, yeah, I know.
Good and bad, I guess.
It wasn't to a detrimental stage, but I would play for a while, and I'd look up and see how much time I had spent there. And, you know, the levels aren't particularly long or anything like that. I mean, like, some of the longer ones maybe took me 15 minutes when I was floundering about trying to figure it out. Now, one thing I really like about it is that it frequently changes things up. And so, you know, many of the missions are, you know, there are troops coming at you. You know, use your troops, your spells, and your ballista shots to win this match. However, then maybe the next one is, your ballista's broken, so now you're only using troops. And that helps you to develop troops and spells or something like that.
Yeah.
So don't rely on your ballista here, which, you know, pushes me out of my comfort zone and actually made me figure out what to do and, you know, pay attention to my troops and spells and stuff. And then there's one where it's like, all you are is just a hero. Because one of the spells you can have is to summon yourself onto the battlefield as a hero and just go in there and deal with shit on your own. And then some entire levels are just you on the ground doing that.
See, I like that aspect though too, because it goes back to what like you just said about it forces you out of your comfort zone, but it also forces you where if you're at the beginning and you're like, I'm just playing this game completely wrong. I feel like they want me to do all this stuff, and then you get that later level where they're like, yeah, you have to do that other stuff now. So you know, and then maybe you learn at that point, oh, well, this does work out.
It helps out a little bit in that regard. Yes.
That's
now,
pretty awesome.
Yeah. The caveat to that is when I spend 20,000 in gold on my favorite ballista shot, and then next level, you got to rely on all your troops. Well, fuck, I haven't upgraded them in ages, so they're getting creamed by these giant trolls with armor.
Right.
So now I've got to go back and grind a few levels to earn some gold, but you know, you can do that. That is a solution. Actually, and also what you can do, there are different modes. So you can do the campaign, you can do random skirmishes, or you can do survival, which involves surviving waves, and you can do that as in the castle, or you can do that as the hero on the ground. Cool. And those earn money that you can spend on the campaign as well, and the upgrades you purchase there spend if I upgrade my hero in the campaign, then I go to do hero survival. You know, he's beefy and taking people down, no problem, which is pretty sweet. The castle creation is pretty nice. At first, I didn't care for it. At first, that was overwhelming for me. And mostly what I would do is I would unlock a new castle, but if it didn't have a room that I had and I wanted it, then I'd just go and edit that newest castle and stick in the room that I wanted. Because the castles are interesting. The castles are not only the thing that you're trying to defend, but they are also your lifeblood essentially, because they have rooms in them, and the rooms do things. Like there'll be rooms like the army recruitment room was a vital room for me always, because if you upgrade that, then it can increase the maximum army size that you can have on the ground at one time, or the I don't remember what it is, but the pantry or something like that, that increases the speed of food that you generate, because you have to spend food to deploy a new troop. And if those rooms get crushed by enemy projectiles, and so, you know, there are times where I had a max army of 12, and then it's like, all right, let's summon a new troop, and it's like, you can't do that. You got a max of 5 now. I'm like, oh, fuck.
So then does it become like strategy of where you place those rooms as well? So like you put them in the back of the castle?
I put them in the back low, because you have to get through everything else in order to get... Now you also place your army troop training rooms in there, and they're all different shapes as well. So, you know, the bigger, tougher guys take up more space. And so, you know, you have to really strategize how you're fitting things together. And what's really neat about that, so if you collapse the room, then that troop is no longer available. It shows up as a skull on your little troop deployment screen. But what's kind of neat is that you don't even have to collapse the entire room. If you like knock down a wall, there's a dude training in there always. He's doing his little training. Like if you just shoot like one javelin that's really well placed and it hits the dude inside there, he's dead. They can't summon anymore. Wow.
Nice.
So it's this neat little interactive element. And so basically if a room loses a floor, which is always a ceiling of another room, if it's not on the ground level, it has no automatic floor, it's the ceiling of the bottom room, then everything above it can collapse if it's got no floor whatsoever. So you really have to strategize how you build things, because you don't want to just build a tower of rooms one on top of the other, because if they knock out that bottom room, all the ones on top of it fall. But if you stagger them kind of like brickwork, then there's always a little bit of floor holding it up, so then they have to knock down some more in order to get the top stuff to fall. It's very beneficial to build out of smaller pieces if you're filling in space, because it requires more for them to smash through all those tiny pieces than if it's just one bigger piece. But you have a limit on the number of pieces you can place in your castle. I have this massive beast of a castle called the Wall, because you can name it as well. And so it's pretty awesome, unless I have to fight from the other side, because it's designed for one side front, and the other side is much more vulnerable. But yeah, you place the stuff you want to preserve in harder to hit places. You know, they're gonna have to dig through the castle more to get to it, and that adds a nice. I didn't mess a lot with that at first, but then when I got to later levels, you know, I wanted to mess around a little bit more with that. It was pretty fun. The actual building tool was pretty straightforward. didn't have a specific tutorial for it, but it had a little guide with little picture things that were pretty easy to figure out. So, long story short, I wasn't really sure I was going to like it. I'm not a big fan of physics games in general, but this one really has sunk its claws into me, and I've been playing it a lot.
Yeah, I was contemplating buying it because it was just there's something about it that second go round.
Yeah,
I think and then hearing about it really the game opening up compared to the trial. I mean,
it's got a great price point too. I mean, that $10 or 800 points, is pretty great.
Yep.
It looks awesome. I love the animation style.
Yes.
And I
We
dig
didn't even talk about that.
Super clean.
Yeah, and I dig how they do the you can pour it out as that, and it becomes almost a button smasher, side scrolling, adventure game.
Oh,
So
the guy when you control the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. I like that. I mean, that was the one thing I liked about Toy Soldiers when you'd get behind the gun and you were,
Right.
I mean, it was that. It's kind of like that same.
It's a meld of a lot of different types of genres, but still, it's very own thing.
Or like when
which
you
is
get
really cool.
the Sylvester Stallone the Rambo action figure, and just go through just killing everything.
No, I haven't tried out any of the multiplayer yet, and that's actually the next thing I want to try out. But,
Cool.
Since I've kind of completed the single play campaign.
So maybe you'll have more on that next time.
I hope so.
Some multiplayer.
Oh, and that Aqua Kitty was 2-player. Did we say that?
It was 2-player, local 2-player. We did not say that. Aqua Kitty.
Sorry.
That's all right.
We were thinking.
I'll cut it back in.
Okay.
You're not going to do anything of
That
the
is
sort.
correct.
All right, what else do we got for XBLA?
We've got some State of Decay.
Yes.
That came out a couple weeks ago, right? Or
No,
was it
just
just
this
last
week.
Last
Ooh,
week, yeah.
time. I don't-
Undead
I don't know what's going on
Labs,
time.
1,600 points.
It is 1,600
points.
points. I played the demo. All of us played the demo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Time-
very popular right now.
It is.
Time demo,
It is time demo.
which
makes sense for an open world game.
Exactly.
Open world zombie survival sim
Yeah.
adventure, third person hack and slash
Yes. With
resource
cars.
collecting, driving around game. Is that hyphenate? I don't know. Do you hyphenate all that? But
Sure.
Here's the thing. I love the concept of this game. I really like the idea of it. Everything I hear from people talking, I haven't looked at too many. I don't think I looked at any reviews for it, but I've heard some people talking about it because it's been quite a buzz on Twitter and a couple other places this last week of people raving about it.
Yeah.
My time with it wasn't as enjoyable. I don't know. Right off the bat, it seemed really kind of, for the lack of a better term, janky to me. I was running into a lot of performance issues with the game.
Yeah.
Stuttering around, really choppy performance.
Right.
Even at the end, when I would quit out of the game and it would give me that trailer for the gameplay, like the music was cutting out,
Oh, really?
like every 5 seconds.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't think it. I
I
don't.
had some similar.
I don't know if it's my
performance
Xbox issue, but
No, I had some similar performance issues.
So when I look at that and the $20 price tag, that makes me a little more apprehensive, even if I'm enjoying the gameplay aspect of it. So I played a little bit of the gameplay, though, to get into that more. I really like the resource management aspect of it, parts of it, when you're going around and kind of like going through that campsite areas and kind of searching those areas and searching without having to alert like any other people in the area. So you can like go search faster and it makes more noise, which then creates like hordes of zombies to come at you, or you can do it slow and be quieter. I kind of thought that stuff was fun, and I liked the adventure part of it, going around
You
and
really
getting
like
that stuff.
Hold Day Now Why?
Well, I don't know about that, but there's a lot of holding down Y in the game.
That is pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you not having fun with that part?
It did not. The game did not hook me. It really felt. I don't know. I just felt very repetitive, and it was, everything was kind of the same for me. I go into a building and I'd search a bag. Look, there's a bag. I can search that. Oh, look, there's this cooler. I'll go search this.
Yes.
And then inevitably some zombie would crash in through a window, and then I'd fight them, and then I mean, it didn't show a lot of variety. Now, from what I have read some reviews, and if you look at some of the stuff in the trailer as well, there's a lot more that goes on than you really get in that first open area, and it's understandable that you might not necessarily be able to access that stuff, but man, is the stuff you get access to is mundane as hell.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
It's so grindy.
It is grindy.
Oh,
because
my God.
It is almost. I mean, it's very RPG-y.
Yeah.
It's and you know, I've heard a couple people, saw people likening it to Sims as well.
Sure.
Whereas you're managing the people and the
Yeah,
resources.
I heard
and
you can do
kinda
that
like
stuff, too.
You know, you have influence in the game, which is
Right.
like depends on the kind of stuff you have and that you store in your safe houses,
Mm-hmm.
and that increases your influence, which gives you other options in the game and
Right.
like allows
And,
you to recruit more people.
Someone can be depressed, and then you have to kind of pay give attention
Right.
to them
Yeah.
so that they don't leave. Or
And so
you know,
there's, I'm conflicted because I want to like those kind of games.
right.
Is what I should say. I think I said before that I like those resource management kind of games, and
Mm-hmm.
I think what I more mean is that I want to like those kind of games.
Yeah.
In principle.
And then when I sit down and play them, I'm like, well, this is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about us almost dying. Let me baby you for about 5 minutes. That's great. I want to worry about your feelings at this moment. And I don't know if I want to deal with that.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of the community aspect and like recruiting people and kind of getting
Yeah.
safe houses and
Yeah.
building that up.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a game that's still playing when you're not playing, so time is progressing, which
Oh,
I think is prevalent in the game. Because I've heard some things from people where they come and play
Undead
later.
Crossing.
They come and play later, and like the people that they had it, like their character got killed while they were gone. So like somebody they built.
I hope that's progression and not a glitch.
They played up and like somebody who was sick like turned and then killed somebody in the room while they were gone. And so there's aspects of that seem cool.
Yeah.
But then I also worry about the time I turn it on and I'm like, oh, the guy I was just playing for 4 hours got killed. Oh, guess what? I'm done with this fucking game. Because I get worried about that. Because I get also a little anal about like wanting to make sure everybody's taken care of and I'm playing this
or
way
being the one character
and protected.
I
I have a
have
problem switching around.
I have a hard
too.
time with that because
Switching between characters?
Yeah, I found myself like it kept prompting me, "Hey, try it out." I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I want to play this dude.
I understand it because it adds to that survival aspect of you wear characters down,
Yeah.
and so it sort of sidesteps around the issue of, well, now your character's worn down, you got to rest, and so that being boring, instead they allow you to kind of switch it around, but it does kind of
think
detach you from
the person you're trying to play.
The person you're trying to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that would work better if you didn't, if your stamina like took a long time to build back up, because you do have stamina like when you're running around or using your attack.
Yeah.
But it comes back fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So like the switching
does
to
the max reduce though? Because I know.
Oh, does it?
I don't know because I know the health does. Like you can. I technically died once,
Yeah.
and then I had to spam a button and I got back up, and I only had a max of half health.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't heal up any more past that.
So then maybe if you rested that person for a while and played as the other person, it would
possible,
come
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that either because I only played that limited amount.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the case. I thought that the stamina was always going back up to the top, though, in my experience.
Yeah.
So, and I played like the full half hour or whatever, 45 minutes that
Yeah.
you get. I can't remember how long it ended.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Something like
I
that.
played most of it.
I got at some point where they told me I had a half hour left. So, and I had played for a bunch before that. So, but once I got to like the driving sections, because the area looked huge. I looked on the map and it
Yeah.
looked huge.
Right.
And so you get to a driving section where you can get into a car and take off. And so I was doing that, and I got to like this town area.
Right.
And I was literally seeing like every third second of the motion of my, or third frame
Oh.
of me moving.
Oh,
Mine
really?
And
get
so
that
it was
bad. Mine didn't
choppy
get that
as fuck,
bad.
and I'm like, "This is terrible."
Yeah,
it was
I-
pretty much unplayable for me at that
I
point.
played it.
That's unfortunate.
I
was.
stepped back into it this morning a little bit and played through a little bit more, and I didn't have any of those really
Okay, good.
those problems, which
It
was
might be my
nice.
Xbox.
But there was a couple times here and there when
Mm-hmm.
I first played it, but late, like when I played it recently, I didn't have a problem with it, so that was good.
And I think, Greg, you mentioned there was like a patch coming that you heard too. So maybe,
Yeah, they've already submitted one patch
Maybe
for
that'll
the
clean
game,
up some stuff.
and they are planning on moving forward with it. They're apparently also working on an MMO set in the same universe, and then once they get a lot of that ironed out, they're also talking about adding co-op to the game. So
See,
that'll open up quite a bit as well.
That's pretty huge right
Yeah.
there. I mean, I like it, but I have these other games, so
That's the other thing is Grand Theft Auto 4 may have broken me on open world games because now it's like, I do something mundane and I'm like, fuck, am I gonna have to do this 18 million times? Is that why this takes 40 hours to play? Because I'm fucking searching backpacks all day
Yes.
long.
Grand Theft Auto ruined your lilife.
I did
Your gaming life.
It did for open world games because it's like
It emotionally broke you.
it's like is it because open world that
Yeah.
automatically makes people a lot more interested
Sure.
in things. Saying that you have many, many, many hours of gameplay,
Right.
that automatically gets people interested. Me, you tell me that stuff, I'm like, So what? I'm doing the same thing 18 million times.
So basically, the game makers didn't have a direction, so they just made a big world for everybody to fuck around in and make up their own game.
it's me. And I completely know it's a personal thing on that. But yeah, I did get a little of a Grand Theft Auto 4 feel as I was playing stuff. Thankfully, I didn't fail any missions and have to redrive it 15 times.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That wasn't too bad.
And maybe have a bridge out sign up.
Yeah, right. Did you drive off of that cliff?
Yeah.
I wonder if you're supposed to.
No, I didn't drive off the cliff.
Well, that doesn't mean you did it right.
Yeah.
You broke their game. You broke their experience.
I made the jump the second time. I went to the top of
I
the hill.
almost made it.
I went to
You
the
guys
top
talking
of the
about
hill.
Grand?
No.
The State of Decay.
State of Decay.
Yeah.
Because you get in that car and you go and you drive that town and there's a bridge and I'm like at the last. I mean, I noticed it too late. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And then we totally
And they all
missed and fell into that ravine.
The guy comes crawling out the back. He's in the bed. He's like, They're like, wait, what?
Oh yeah, because you're in a truck.
Yeah.
Everybody's
And
okay.
he comes crawling out the bottom.
He's okay.
Nice.
But there's enough to it that I
Wait,
like.
though. We're in a zombie apocalypse and the bridge is out, and you want them to take the time to set up a sign that says "Bridge out."
Hell yeah.
Could we not find some like modern convenience?
So what happened? Was the bridge made out of like human flesh or something, and the
And
zombies
ate
chewed it?
I don't know.
And it collapsed.
They wanted to break it.
Maybe they tried to separate the town from.
I'm still confused.
They were having a flash mob on the bridge,
Yeah.
and it
And it
collapsed.
I was still
terrible
Thriller.
tragedy.
I was still confused about what they like. They talked about how they've been back, and they were on this like right on this lake when the game
They were
starts.
out on an island or something fishing.
Okay.
Yeah, the setup, the initial story stuff is so hackneyed.
Yeah, because I
It
was
is
like,
ridiculous. I mean, I know the whole point is to get to later stuff where it's
Yeah.
basically an emergent narrative where
Sure.
you're kind of dealing with people and your interactions with them. But goddamn, I'm like, you know what? Don't even bother with all the what are
yeah,
these things?
Exactly.
Plus, also, don't include lines like, what's wrong? These people must just be crazy. And then have an automatic name or automatic line that responds with, like, Z's up ahead. I'm like, Z's? What's that stand for? Crazy people?
Zeebs.
We're making quite big leaps in our theories now, are we?
Yes.
So are these zombies? I don't know. They're fucking eating people. That's the problem too when you have a universe where people are aware of zombies.
Yeah, yeah.
And they say that later because the guy's like, "So is everybody zombies then?" Or why is there? And you saw these people attacking people and eating people. If you already know that term, then that's probably what you're going to go with.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
I wouldn't ask.
I'm not going to walk outside and see a guy eating somebody and go, "Is that a fucking zombie?"
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
that's
I am
a fucking zombie.
I am going to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going to go, "Is that guy crazy?"
I think the price
Sir.
point. If the price point was a little lower, maybe
I'm
I
telling
should
you,
check it out, but
I think I would have made
I
the
feel
jump.
overwhelmed.
I think I would have made the jump even being overwhelmed and like just for the experience because I kind of like the idea, but
technical
with having the
glitches.
technical problems and
Yeah.
if that stuff gets ironed out, maybe I will make the jump.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I can't.
It's not
do it.
isolated to you, though. From what I
Yeah.
hear, is that there are a few technical.
Someone put that on
glitches.
you, listeners. Let me know when they fix it. Thanks.
An open
I'll try to
world
keep
zombie
track.
apocalypse, I could be totally down for. But it just, I guess I need
Yeah.
need something else
world.
there.
I went into it. Here's my problem. I went into it expecting Dead Rising 2 K0.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think, and then I'm like, oh, instead of finding a pair of elk horns and attaching them to a football helmet, I can look in this backpack for yet another snack that I'm never going to eat.
And then say the same thing 100 times.
Yes.
Oh, that looks good.
I like the. Did you
I'll
guys
eat that later.
Did you guys find the tent with the big widescreen TV?
Yes.
Yes.
What was that all about?
Kegs in it? Yeah, I don't know, party tent.
Yeah, but using what?
I don't know.
They had a generator out.
Oh, okay. I
on the
didn't,
other
I didn't
side.
notice that. Well, at least it makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
did find a big,
Thank you for
large
clarifying.
backpack right away. I'm like, okay.
I thought that
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
was interesting too. I see. I like that kind of things where it seems like it makes game sense where you can change to a bigger backpack and it's a little bigger, heavier,
Yeah.
but it has more spots. So that I like those realistic kind of.
Also, the
Elements.
combat was just kind of a flurry for me.
Yeah.
It was me kind of spamming
Yes.
buttons.
Right.
And my AI opponent seemed to be able to do like different interesting things like
Like hold them.
yeah, hold them and
And I
all that
couldn't do
stuff.
it?
Yeah. Also, the did you guys have a problem with the sneak kill? Like cuz
Yes.
whenever you're creeping, it every time, doesn't matter how many times it's told me before,
Yeah.
and the fact that I've already successfully achieved it, it's like press left button and Y together to sneak kill a zombie while creeping. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Can you get out of my face so I can get...
Yeah.
But half the time I would get up there and I press the two together and then I just push the zombie.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm like, this is no sneak kill. He knows I'm here now.
Was I supposed to team up with like one of my AI guys and like crawl in front of him?
Yeah.
This is going to be hilarious.
Hey, put your leg out. Just like put your leg out under him.
Yeah,
I'll push him. He's gonna fall.
What's up, dork?
And then we'll run.
What's up, Zeeb? What's up, Zeeb?
We'll run away. It'll be funny. That'd be a better game.
Yeah, so
Maybe when they do that two-player.
I had some
co-op.
difficulty with the controls, and then like I was constantly leveling up, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on with all this leveling up, and frankly, I don't care that much because it doesn't seem like there's that much combat for me.
Yeah.
You got a cool little stamp.
Granted, that was my choice to not investigate it more.
Right.
But again, there was a lot already, and I had backpacks to search. God damn it!
That's right. And coolers.
And walk into that bathroom.
I don't know if I saw the bathroom.
Oh, the bathroom was creepy.
Was
It's
it?
dark in there.
That's cool.
You
Turn your
can't
flashlight
open
on?
any of the stalls though. Yes.
Well, you probably don't want to open this.
I did
For your own safety.
I did like that you could get to higher vantage points and sort of search out
Yep.
places on the map.
Yeah.
I
That
thought
was
that
cool.
was a really nice feature on there. I wanted to like the game a lot more than I did. It just didn't.
I'm in the same boat.
Connect
There's a
with
lot of things to it. But I just can't bite the bullet on it.
Yeah.
So
We'll see how it goes.
Knowing me,
Open-
I'll probably try it again in like 3 months or so. Give it another shot,
opening the
like
door
I did with Skullgirls.
and
every
hitting
3
the
months.
zombies. That's pretty fun.
Oh,
I mean, there's
on the
like
car,
some cool
yeah.
options to it.
Cool.
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll
Yeah.
talk about it later, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Let's see if we jump into it. If we fall for it. So I guess disc games is next, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the usual.
I got a demo, but it goes along with one of your disc games.
So let's start with it. Fuse. Talked about it
Fuse
last
it
time,
up.
the demo.
Yeah.
Sean
Yes.
did a little bit.
Did
You
you?
played as the medic only,
He played as the
even though you
medic
can
only.
switch to all characters.
I heard
I
that.
said you could.
But you chose not to.
Yeah, but because I couldn't
You're
remember
like-
how to
you're like-
get back to that,
He couldn't do it.
The one button that they prompt you a couple
Exactly.
times on.
and I don't remember what it was.
Back button.
Well, I do now because I've been playing the
All right,
game.
I'm kidding.
So Fuse, we're playing the disc game. Sean and I, Craig played the demo.
I played the demo.
And so I don't really know what's going on story-wise in this game.
I sold my soul away to EA.
Oh, that's right. You would have to agree.
Yeah, I read it all.
Oh, no.
You can't sue them for anything ever,
That's probably true.
basically. That's what it said.
Ever.
Ever.
No, pretty much.
They should
that's
come
what it
kill
said.
your family. Sorry. You agreed to play the Fuse demo. We have the rights to do whatever we want. We now take your life.
Basically.
Anyway, so I don't really know what's going on story-wise. I found that I don't really care what's going on story-wise. I'm just playing through and shooting things.
Yeah.
There's some weird story element going on with, like... So the Fuse is this alien technology
That's been around forever.
substance.
Like since the 30s, I
That
think they were
they're-
referencing like
yeah.
30s into 40s.
It's probably some kind of
They combined it
Roswell
with
thing.
weapon.
Yeah, they're using it for
I almost said weaponology.
they're using it for some kind of
Weapon technology.
developing weapons.
Yeah.
So the big hook of the game, because I didn't play the demo, so I just played
Yep.
the disc version. But the big hook of the game is obviously for me is
The crazy weapons.
the crazy weapons that each character has. There's four
character
different
has
characters
one,
that
yeah.
you can play, and they each have specific weapons that they use. So there's one that's like throws up this like shield that allows you to basically stand behind it and not get in. It blocks all the bullets. There's one that's
You
like
can have a mobile shield, or you can deploy a shield,
yeah,
basically.
You can level up to that,
Which is my favorite.
That's awesome. I haven't got to see it yet.
Because I would throw that down, then switch over to the lady with the gun that would create black holes, and so she would
Yes.
just stand. Because you can also build up combos by doing different things together.
So there's a black hole gun. There's
Shotgun that crystallizes enemies,
Like shatter.
and then the crossbow that burns. Oh my God! Did he get the shittiest weapon or what?
no, but you can
it's totally the Fantastic Four.
It is.
It's
Holy
totally-
cow!
It's totally the
Whoa.
Fantastic Four.
Wow,
Yeah.
you just blew my mind.
wait.
man.
Is it how?
Also,
Although I
also,
can turn invisible with
also,
the lady with
yeah,
the.
That's
why? Well, I was figuring Wall Guy was the invisible
He'd be
one.
invisible. Yeah.
Also, why does Black Hole Gun allow you to turn invisible as well? Those skills go together real well, right?
because she's totally the sniper, like stealthy.
I know it was like
That's
it
why.
totally went away from the whole idea that like, oh, we just put this together and crazy things happen, and then it's more like, oh, That's your tank. This is your rogue.
Exactly.
Here is your medic.
But
And here is your sniper.
But you can change through the characters while you play. But I'm going to be honest with you. When I play the character, I didn't want to change, so I would switch to the other characters and like level them up. But I had no reason to. I didn't have problems with the AI. The AI has been fine for me.
Yeah.
I didn't. They revive me all the time. They They throw up that shield all the time. I just stand behind it, and so I'm always a big fan of the sniper, kind of like stealthy person. And so I'm playing as that chick with the black hole gun.
Yeah.
I can't
Black
say that now.
hole
I know.
gun.
I can't say it now without that fucking song. I hate you. What did you do to me? Terrible episode. This is the worst. Won't you come? So I play as her, and I don't ever want to switch to anybody else. So I don't know how those other people even play because I've had no impetus to like move off of her.
Not me, because I wanted combos.
Yeah,
You can't really get combos by yourself very well.
I didn't care about combos. Yeah. I just wanted.
There's not much else to care about in the game.
That's the problem. It's really just
It's very arcadey.
It's totally arcadey.
But it's so downplayed.
Yeah.
Like it's not. Bulletstorming is not.
No.
Correct. There's no big hook. You just go into like shooting gallery rooms, and that's it.
And that was
It takes forever to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
that's the thing about it is like because I was playing the first level alone. The first chapter takes forever.
Yeah.
And really
It's so long.
I might have to go back and play the demo because the two sections that were in the demo, I don't recall playing them yet.
No.
So
Really?
I don't think that one was in there.
There's one where you face off against two mech guys. Isn't there only like a half dozen different enemies in the game? So
about
not many.
Well, all the different mechs, like they're all different. Like the Leadfoot,
There was different color.
there was the two different guys. One was a flamethrower. The other deployed the little drones.
Yeah.
One's red and one's green.
Also figured out a nice way to do that. You run into one of the buildings, throw a wall in front of one of the windows, and then switch to somebody who can like
Nice.
do a lot of damage and just shoot through it, because then they can. Flamethrower guy stands up there and he's trying to flame through your wall.
He can't do anything.
No, he's being a dumbass.
Being a dumbass. So I had a lot more fun when we played together.
Yeah.
And I think obviously the hook
it's
is, the
definitely
multiplayer, because then it becomes just us laughing at the situations.
Yeah.
It
Right.
becomes the other thing about playing that the one with the singularity gun.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it that now.
Black hole
So
gun.
suck that.
Black hole gun.
The singularity causing gun.
Supermassive black hole gun.
Yeah, that'll work. Stop. Is you can tag other people. So if you've shot other people with it, they kind of have this glow thing going on.
Yeah.
And then if you kill a guy with it and he goes off and like creates this black hole, anybody who's in that radius that has also been tagged with that or has like had a little bit of that substance on them, the fuse on them, they also start a chain reaction and they blow up.
Oh.
So chaining all those people around is awesome.
Nice.
And so I basically used hers because in my opinion, her weapon was the best. And I could just stand behind the guy with the gun, with the wall gun, because he would throw it up automatically. So I didn't care about anybody else.
Yeah.
So those things were awesome. But when we played it together, like in the co-op experience, it just became a lot more fun because we were laughing at all the shit that was going on.
Right.
And you get the guys, the shock troops that come in with the shields.
Yeah.
And so you can't shoot them. You got to kind of have, they do promote a lot of flanking.
Yeah.
And so that's good with the 4-player, co-op. So I would get on the other side of them, and when you make a guy blow up and there's 4 of them all around and they all go flying, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
The flanking's not so much fun when you're playing with 3 AI though,
Because they all hang out with you.
no, because they all hang out in the back.
Yeah.
And then you go to try to flank, and then you get shot down, and then you have to drag your ass back to them because they're going to try to come to you, but they're getting shot down running up to you.
That's what I had a problem with that.
You can't
second,
strategize
That
with
second
That's
go
true.
through.
Yeah.
Because like I think you had to deal with like 3 mechs, and it was just like I was trying to get around them to shoot the tanks, and then it was like no,
not so
happening.
much.
Yeah.
I
And everybody
switched
just
over.
such damage sponges.
Yeah.
And they're 18 miles away.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I found it to be oddly balanced because I found the guys not to be a problem, like the normal troops.
Yeah.
But then you would run into those big mechs, and they would take so much to fucking kill them.
Yeah.
Like, it would be such a chore. And so it was a pretty big disparity between them, in my opinion.
Then you'd hit those little fuse bomb things, those little ball things.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
those are set up around.
And they just bounce and blow. Like you could just shoot them, and they'll just blow up the rest of the. I mean, no matter where they were, they'd bounce over to them. So I don't know if they're like heat-seeking things or
I don't know. I thought they went random, but
I thought they did too, but you could clear out a
Maybe
level.
lucked
There was
into it.
times where you'd walk into a level and shoot 2 of those things, and they're like, all clear. And you're
Everybody
like,
would-
who did I fucking shoot?
I will say that's another problem I have with the game as I'm going through, and sometimes you're looking. I'm like, okay, what do I do next? And really, all you have to do is sit there and listen to everybody talk until they get done talking because they have their conversations about what
They're
they need to
wonderful
do.
lines.
Some of it I found entertaining. I found some of the interactions between the characters funny. Some of the stuff.
Some.
But then sometimes they talk and like so they're telling or explaining what we have to do or talking about what we have to do. And so I'm waiting to find out what we have to do and there's nothing for me to do yet except listen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't really care. So and then they finally tell me what we have to do.
It's weird how you can't, like, you go to the door that's supposed to be opening. You
Yeah.
know that's the door.
And you have to
it's
wait.
red, and you're standing in front. And so I ran into that problem because sometimes that they don't open unless all the enemies are gone. And sometimes when you're in those, like, triple leveled rooms,
Yeah.
the enemies, they're dumb. And they'll be down on the bottom floor in the corner trying to get to you. And then all of a sudden you hear,
Walking into a
you
corner.
hear 2 gunshots and then got him. And you're like, who got who?
Well, maybe the AI went and took
Yeah,
care of it
he's
for you.
like, I fucking do it.
He's like, I know where this is at.
This is
If
jerk.
you're not going to go down there,
yeah, exactly.
I will fucking do it, I guess. So you mentioned before that it was very arcadey. It is very
Yeah.
arcadey. You do get experience points as you play through the game. You can level up into different areas that give you different abilities or increase your other abilities that you have.
And different characters have different abilities
Correct.
available to them.
And even if you're playing single player, you can make sure you go in and spend those points on all the other characters
that was pretty
because
sweet.
then now the AI uses those different abilities as well. So that was handy. They do
Yeah.
not because it was happening for me. So because I didn't know what was going on the next time I played, I did it at the end of playing.
Yeah.
And I upped this guy, the guy with the wall gun, the shield gun, and I went in and played the next time, and he's like shooting out this thing that like was a wave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what the shit is that? He
Oh,
doesn't
that's
know
part
that.
of his basic gun.
Well, was it?
Yeah.
Because he's never doing it before.
While you have it open, well, that's because he didn't know how to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Because he randomly does it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's basically the only thing he can shoot when he's got the wall projected on the gun.
Okay.
That's the mobile wall can just do like this force pulse thing.
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah.
was doing. So, and then you collect. This is where the arcade aspects comes in because there's hidden little things around that you can collect. There's some intel, which I don't. That's really the only place that explains anything about these weapons too. Is like in the description for what the weapons do in those little intel pieces.
Yeah.
And other than that, I don't think the aliens are coming into. The alien tech thing is just like used. I don't know. It's just thrown out there and accepted at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's weird. But you find gold bars, which are money that you can use to buy these perks, which that's pretty much all you do with it. And then you find little canisters that are extra XP that you can find around.
Yeah.
And those elements are very arcadey. And I find that I'm searching rooms just for those little glowing bits that
Yeah.
really don't mean anything.
Right.
So it's just, it
and
feels
there's
kind of
the
empty.
combos and all that stuff as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Putting that stuff together. Very arcadey, but 50 Cent is not.
It is not.
No, it's not.
It is not. And in the regular game, there's this
50
echelon.
Cent should get these weapons.
There's a singularity bomb.
I'm sad the listeners didn't get to just see Sean's face right then when I said that.
Wow. You should be able to mash up games.
In the full disc version,
Give him my diamond encrusted alien skull. Yeah. That's what he's going after in this one.
It'd be awesome.
in the full disc version, there's this echelon mode that's like a horde mode
Yeah.
as well. And I didn't mess around with any of that because it sounds no fun to me.
Yeah.
I was striving to find fun even progressing through in a
Yeah.
regular mission. So to sit in one room and kill as many people as I can did not sound entertaining at all to me. So I did not bother with that. And I also found the button configuration weird. Did anybody else have that issue?
I can't remember.
I had
Like you run and like I kept jumping over things instead of going into cover.
By the A and B, the vault is A and the B is cover.
Yeah.
And there's times where I just vault over right into like just getting shot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just.
It was weird.
I had more problems like getting my HUD up or getting like my inventory menu up or things like that. I was having a problem with that. So
I don't know. And there's also those elements where they want you to be stealthy and stealth kill people, but then it's like the minute you go up and kill one guy in front of a like everybody
There will
sees
be
you
randomly
instantly.
triggers for it. Basically, you're allowed to stealth kill for a certain period, and then they're going to automatic because you're not. It doesn't want you to be fully stealth.
Right.
They want you to be able to get an advantage, but then you're going to have to break out your black hole gun. And
I'm glad that you could work that in one more time.
thanks.
Although I'm confident we have one more game to talk about that you'll probably get it in more. We have a whole another 30 minutes probably to go. I'm going to guess it's going to get in there.
You know, take out the black hole gun.
Stop!
Say,
All right, are we done
why
with
don't you
Fuse?
come have a firefight with me?
Why don't you come and wash away?
the rain.
I don't know. All right, should we move on?
Yes.
Remember Me? Is that all we have
Remember
left?
me. Yeah. Remember
No. What is going on? This is the
Don't
whole-
worry.
Oh, come on. Sean does this all the time.
I know, but it's making the whole episode is all music.
You can't help it. That's like just it's in there.
Remember Me is a very interesting
Play
game.
it.
Yeah.
Pops out.
I was immediately sucked into the style of the game.
Yeah.
It's got style for days.
Yeah.
And then it's a little bit of clunky on the gameplay side.
A little bit.
But you're playing in this dystopian Paris future city where memories are like a commodity that they use, and everybody's got these things floating in their back that is like you can access their brains and their memories, and so people can buy memories.
Yes.
All their memories are cataloged.
Sell them.
You can sell them. Exactly. So it's a little Total Recall-ish, I guess.
bit,
it would
yeah,
be.
yeah.
Well, and there's a bit of a class distinction then as well,
Correct.
right? Because the poorer classes are, of course, selling their memories, and so in addition to being poor, they're also devoid of any real happiness
Yeah.
or
Feelings.
anymore.
Exactly. And they
Yeah.
become like these, I think they call them lepers in there, which this lower class of people,
Yeah.
and they're like basically mutants that have been thrown down into the dregs of the community.
Yeah.
But you're playing as this, I can't remember what they call her, like
She's a bounty hunter.
a memory hunter.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So she's a memory hunter where she basically goes and gets all these memories or has the ability to affect these memories. And so there's these triggers in the game. So it's basically go through as a third person, kind of an action adventure platformer, not
Yeah.
platformer, but I guess it's a little bit Tomb Raider-y,
I'd say
Prince
yeah.
of Persia-y,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
where you're climbing
Yep.
around on stuff, jumping other things.
Yep.
Although there's really never a miss.
Assassin's Creed
In
type thing.
Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
There's never a miss in my opinion either, though, because you.
I heard there wasn't
always-
much of a point either.
Not really. You mean to that stuff?
Yeah.
It's really traversing around, and it looks neat. It provides a lot, and that's what I'm going into with the style
variety,
thing.
yeah.
It looks awesome
Yeah,
because
it
it allows
does.
you to like come up and climb up these areas, and then all of a
Right,
sudden you
right.
have this big crescendo in the music, and you see this awesome like setting, and then you go back to jumping around and climbing.
Yeah.
And
Punching.
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 So there,
A lot of punching.
You know, there's the battle elements are kind of clunky.
Yeah.
You know, the camera works kind of clunky. You can get in people get in the way of
Oh,
you.
yeah, I heard the camera's kind of...
It is a little bit, but it's not. It's also not terrible. Like the style was still fun,
yeah.
but it just wasn't doing any like it. How it looked and and the story ideas and what it presented, I wanted it to be more than it was.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it. I wanted it to be more special in the gameplay modes than it was.
Sure.
And there are a couple aspects of the gameplay that are really special and like awesome.
This is what I want to get to talking
Yes.
about here. So,
The memory remixes.
memory remixing,
Which
memory mashup.
unfortunately I think doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't, from what I heard.
I ran into a couple so far, and so what happens is you have these elements where, in one example, this lady attacks you, and she's like a bounty hunter, and she's going to kill you,
Yeah.
and so you quickly jack into her mind and like remix her memory and change events. So you basically experience this memory of hers, and you can reverse through the time like you would fast forward and rewind a VCR, like a videotape.
Right.
Yeah.
And things will come up that you can alter.
Yeah.
So these elements will kind of go like fuzzy. They're glitches that you can affect. So I went through and they tell you how to do this. So you affected the glitch and you change it. And so you change that memory and change things to happen. Well, the first time I did it, I'm like, okay, I guess I do all of them. So I did everything, and it ends up killing this lady.
Yeah.
And you're like,
really?
And you're like, oh well, yeah. And you watch it play out, and you're like, oh, I guess I don't have to do everything. And they're like, do it again because
Yeah.
you. I was misunderstanding, and I think
Yeah.
you're supposed to. I think
Yeah.
they want you to do that to
Yeah,
experience that. I was misunderstanding that you had to do everything that you
No,
find.
no.
And what happens is that you have a bunch of
It's not a picture search.
exactly. Well, what
You
happens
find
is
everything.
you find all the glitches, and you at that point have to decide which ones do I need to
Right.
do to affect this outcome that I want.
Right.
So going back, it was kind of fun to see the mistake, and you're like, oh shit, I killed the lady. That's
Yeah,
not good.
yeah.
I guess I don't need to do all those pieces. So
Yeah.
you go back, and I did a couple of the pieces, and it plays out even different. And so now when it comes back, it's like all of a sudden now she's mad at these other people and not
Right.
you, and she's like, no, I'm here to help you. And so it was kind of a cool story element,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
really awesome.
You know what would have been kind of neat?
Yes.
From what I understand it's not in there, but since there's the buying and selling of memories, and
Yes.
so basically the full uploading of memories, that, if you could like steal people's memories or keep like a bank of memories and like upload things to have personality effects
and change
and
things like
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It offers so many of these promises and hope, and then it like kind of just falls short. Like
Yeah.
it goes up to the like edge of being awesome, and then they just have mediocre gameplay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Now I
I
hear you
agree
also
with you.
get to create your own combos.
You do get to create your own
little bit.
combos. About the memory things, though.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I wanted to say one other thing. when I did that first one, I got an achievement for it. So you get an achievement that pops. And I looked at it, and I think it tells you, or maybe it's in the game, there's also achievement tracking. So it tells you how far you are to achievements. Mm-hmm. And so I went to one of them that was like complete all the memories or whatever, the memory remixes. And I was 25% or 20% done. And that was after one. I'm like, well, that was a really cool element, but this tells me that there's only like 4 or 5 of them in the game, which is kind of disappointing because I was really looking forward to like getting to experience a bunch of those.
Sure.
And so while they're still cool, it seems like they're really limited, and I don't. That's kind of a bummer.
From reviews I've read, that they are pretty limited.
Okay,
it is mostly punching.
That's a bummer. And about punching, you do get to create your own combo, so we can jump to that. But you still only have a couple different combo mixes that you get. It's just you get to put in different abilities for the XY combos that you do. Mm-hmm. So it always starts with either an X or they're always XY. Mm-hmm. It's just a different progression of those combos.
Sure.
And a couple of those. So the first one is a 3-button combo. It's 3 X's. Mm-hmm. And for those second 2 X's, you can put other things into those. I think they call them presons. There's so much weird terminology in this game. I couldn't keep it straight. I swear to God. So I apologize. I'm just going to call them buttons.
Okay.
So some of them are increased damage. Some of them are ability to regen health. Mm-hmm. Some of them are a timer to slow down or to quicken up the refresh on some of your special abilities.
Okay, sure.
There's another one that creates a more powerful bond between 2 of them. So it's like a booster. Mm-hmm. So you can put in, like, for instance, the first combo that I made, it was a regular X, and then the second X I put in until you do more damage, and then the last one was I gain health back. So when you complete that XXX combo, you get, you do a regular attack, then you do a little more damage on the next X, and then you gain health back on the final X if you complete the 3-hit combo. There's a couple, but there's only like 4 different combos that they allow you to do.
Oh, okay.
But you can still piece in and put those together however you'd like.
Yeah.
It sounds really cool. But I get the feeling like once I put them together, I'm never going to change them again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I've gotten 3, maybe I have all 4 now. But, as you level up and get experience points, you can unlock more XYs that offer different abilities. But there's still only a couple different, I think it's all those ones that I mentioned. I don't think there's anything else. So while you'll set that up, I think that I'm not going to go in and manage it on the fly like they kind of seem like they want you to.
Can you make those things stack? Like if you do a damage booster, can you put another damage booster on there? So, you might encounter an enemy that's actually going to require a lot more oomph than what you're giving normally. Or, maybe there's some enemies that are really beating the shit out of you, and so you need something that's going to be an uber healer. And you might have some small.
It might be.
I see what you're saying there.
It might be because but my point of that is I think I would just go to a different combo that had them already in there. Do you know what I mean? Like this XXX combo is like power heal.
Right.
So I could do that really quick and get a bunch of health back. Yeah. I was never into a situation where the battle was really tough. Those combos are easy to keep up, and I think that might become the easiness or the base level of the combat system.
Yeah.
Because you can dodge attacks and continue your combo afterwards.
Kind of Batman-y.
It is kind of Batman-y.
In the timing sort of deal.
It is a little bit. They give you a little notification, but it's a full-on Metal Gear exclamation point that's telling you to move out of the way.
Well, that's what it is for, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. Or lightning bolts.
It was the lightning bolt. That's right. That was.
It was pretty apparent, unless you're playing on
I was thinking about the hard where they take that away and you have to watch
away.
everybody's movements. But they do give you the notification. So you can jump over people and get out of the way and continue your combo.
Sure.
But there wasn't, what was missing maybe was the parry system that Batman has.
Yeah.
So there was no way to block attacks.
Yeah.
You pretty much just dodge out of the way.
I see.
And so there was really no
that would become repetitive pretty quickly.
There is no really quote unquote dancing,
right?
Kind of, because it became like a dance in Batman where you're a hit, block, then you can follow up
with
a hit,
stun gun,
do some more stuff. This is really you either hit X or Y, and so you're either punching or kicking.
Got it.
And they do add in abilities that they also seem really weird. So there's these other S presents I think that they call where you hold down the bumper button or the trigger button and then use your wheel to select one of those abilities. There's 5 different abilities you can use. And one of them is the super attack where you just spam your X and Y button, you hit everybody and hop back and forth to them, and it goes for a limited amount of time.
Are there any memory-related
ones? Pretty good multiplier on there. Because I think you're doing 2 to 3 times each time
you're
hitting.
And they're up in the multipliers on them. And then that has and all of those have cooldowns, which that's one of those other things you can put into the combo makers that allow the cooldown to go quicker if you hit a succession.
So there's nothing like make them remember the smell of brownies. So then they get distracted and you punch them in the face.
No, that'd be awesome. There's not that. So, the
Make
combat...
them remember the first breasts they saw.
You pretty much steal all their memories
probably are the
after
first
you
person
beat
I saw.
them. After you beat them, you take their memories.
Well, yeah, some of them you can do this overload thing where
Yeah.
you, if you beat them down enough and do enough damage, you can hit the B button and overload them, and that's kind of a cool little takedown that they do.
Yep.
The music is awesome in the combat. They add in these like musical flourishes that's really kind of techno sounding
Yeah.
and electronic sounding, and so if you're doing better in combat, like the music is more. Like, I really like that. There was these style elements. That's another
Yeah.
one of the style elements that's really cool when you're playing it, but then it's still not that fun. I don't know. You get a gun later on, like this arm gun that you get that seems really weak, too. It's just, there's a lot of just, it feels like it could be good, and it just doesn't. What did you think about
Visually,
it so far?
I really enjoyed it. I thought, like, coming up on some of those, like, places in the city and coming up to the restaurants and things like that,
Yeah.
they had it was very... Minority Report with all the like
That's
digital,
true,
thing. You'd come up and then the sign would come up closed,
Right.
and, or it would show the menu. I mean, there was all these little
That you couldn't do anything with.
No,
but they show you.
It was like a really neat style element that was involved in the game, and I mean, as I hear, if there's not too many of those like memory things.
Yeah.
I don't. I was thinking about re-renting it. There was something about it that just kept me just enough intrigued, if you will.
Yeah.
And the story, I kind of like it too. It's interesting. I kind of want to know more about her.
Yeah, because you kind of
You come in late. She's a very like
you get woken up and
it's a very like it's a very Matrix. It's like you're almost like she's almost like a Neo character, and then
Well, I think
everybody's like, "Hey, you're the one." And
yeah, I think it
this is gonna
opens up
happen.
where they were kind of trying to wipe her mind. And like reset her,
Yeah.
and she still had some kind of like some of her memories.
Yeah.
And she gets out of this facility, and so I think they were kind of using I haven't finished it either yet. So my interpretation is they were kind of using her as a tool for all
Yeah.
this stuff, and they were kind of just trying to clean slate her, and it didn't work. So she got out, and so now you're working with all these other people and you're starting to remember your abilities as you go, which is how you get to do other things and learn things as you go. Again, style wise, it's the presentation I really like a lot. It's I love the area that you're in and the look of everything. It's just I wish they would have done more with gameplay to flesh that out. And the areas that are really cool with the gameplay, I wish there were more of.
Yeah.
I guess I should say.
And that's I think that's it just seems like it's just lacking. I mean, you can already sense that in the game, but there's something about
it's
it
light.
that's pretty enough that
Yeah.
you're like,
And I don't want to disparage. I mean, I'd rather this than so and so 4. A sequel to something. I like this.
So and so 3.
Well, 4 might have been awesome, but now we got to remember me. So I like that there's new properties.
yeah.
So there's going to be those inherent things, and I like that they're at least pushing new IPs forward.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, we encounter these kinds of games every once in a while where it's like, I love the ideas here. If they got a sequel, I bet it would be awesome.
right.
Exactly.
You
Just
know?
going back on what I just said, now they should make a sequel of this that cleans up some of this stuff or fleshes some of these things out,
Right.
or allows me to put memories of people in the first time they see boobs.
The noble failures.
Boob memories.
Boob memories. More boob memories, please.
Boob memory assault. Go.
I'm assuming that most of the enemies you fight are men
Yes.
They are actually.
or lesbians.
Well, there's one.
That's right. I can't verify that yet.
We talked about memory.
I hope.
We were talking about memory, but we totally forgot to talk about in Fuse is when we were playing those characters and they were having those weird flashbacks.
Yes.
Those weird flashes during gameplay.
That was awesome
Yeah.
because there was, and we're going to jump back into Fusion now.
Yeah,
because
well, that's what, because we
were
were
playing
talking about
co-op.
memories.
We're
and
remixing your memory about Fuse.
Yeah, exactly.
This happened before.
Yeah, there was.
This podcast is all out of order. That's how we should
We're
do it
going
on
through
purpose.
remembrance right here.
there was a point where we were playing co-op, and I'm like, we're in the middle of an elevator, and Sean's character's on the ground, like when you get taken down and somebody has to heal him.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, is your character okay on your screen? Because you're like kneeled over in the thing. He's like, I'm in like a jail cell. He's like, I thought we were just in an elevator. I'm like, we are in an elevator. You guys like all bent over. And he was having this flashback. His character was having a flashback where he was seeing some memory that because some guy had infected us in the level we were playing with. And so they made it a point to say, don't trust what you see, blah, blah, blah.
I see.
So he was experiencing this whole other scenario on his screen, and I was just watching him keeled over, which was awesome. And then he stood up. And then later it happened to me where I'm bent over, and I'm like, okay, now I'm standing with this dude, and we're going to shoot a guy. Am I just like keeled over on your screen? He's like, yep.
It was weird.
So that was
Maybe some
awesome.
radiation's leaking. It's
It was
a side
a-
effect of the black hole.
We were
gun.
in a. See, God damn it! That's why you brought it up, Sean. I hate you.
High five. Hand spank.
Wait,
Shut up. You guys are kicked off the show.
Wait.
I'm doing the show alone.
I didn't do
No.
any of this on purpose.
Yeah, right.
Come on. You know better.
That's true. You didn't plan that ahead.
Exactly.
But that was cool, yeah. But remember me, I definitely recommend checking it out for the style.
Yeah, exactly.
And while I say that the gameplay doesn't do anything spectacular, it's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's still fun. I don't have any fear of falling to my death when I'm doing those climb sequences because
Right.
I think you make jumps no matter what.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, I'm just spamming the jump button, and she's always hitting that shit.
And it seems like the checkpoints are really nice because I've fallen and
Yeah.
I'm pretty much right at that edge where I was at.
So while those aren't spectacular, it's still fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
still
I'm
neat.
still intrigued enough to maybe play it. I don't know.
I think you'd like it,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think you would. That's all.
Thanks.
I don't want to push it.
Well, and then there was a nice, interesting one with that first mission because I think there was even an achievement attached to it. Is like I had them like have this nice little conversation, and it was really cool.
Oh, really?
In that first sequence, is like I went back and I
Oh,
only
yeah, gotcha.
did one thing, and they had this like little nice back and forth, and then the doctor puts them out, and I was like, that's pretty.
And then you had to redo it.
Yeah, and I
but
had
you
to
got to
redo-
experience
Yeah.
too.
You failed, but it was a neat failure.
Yes, but the other ones where she died.
Yeah.
and then this one was like a nice back and forth between the two of them. So
Is that the one that ended it?
no, that
Or you
didn't
still had
end
to-
it.
oh, so
I had to go back.
it was a
and,
failure.
Yeah,
So
that ended up
so
being
that's
a failure.
3 different things that you saw in that one thing.
Yeah.
That you could have, if you did it right the first time, you would have only experienced one thing.
Yep.
Which is awesome because
Yeah.
it allows you to play around with stuff.
So that kind of hurts. It hurts that there's not a lot of those in the game because that's what the game should be. It's
Yeah.
just hitting until you get to that part. You know.
Just so you can Neo everybody.
Yeah. Change their memories and then make them your friends.
That's right.
Because
That's cool.
that's the thing where that game could do well in the sequel.
I wish I could do that to you guys.
It would be in the sequel.
Change your memories so we would actually be friends. That'd be awesome.
Oh no,
You've never wanted that.
that would break. That would.
That is so true.
Yeah, that would fall apart.
You've
quick,
not said
but-
anything more true on this show.
Change it back. Change it back.
Are we done?
You'd
Yes.
be clicking
All
your
right.
heels together on that one.
SignInPodcast.com is our website. You can find links to our Facebook page, all of our past episodes, our forums, which we'd love to hear from you over there. Go sell us on that zombie game,
sell
State
it.
of Decay.
Oh, sell us.
Sell us on that that State of Decay game.
Yeah,
Sell me on it. Tell me why I shouldn't worry about the jankiness.
janky.
Janky. You can find links to all the other Pseudo Radio shows.
Because you played Grand Theft Auto 4 already. Come on.
I want them to sell me, not you. Don't steal his answer now. And that wasn't janky. I could drive around and not have a choppy frame rate. True.
Yeah.
And you can find links to our Twitter, which I'm on Twitter at SignInPodcast. Sean is on Twitter at.
Shonix.
Craig is on Twitter at
The pull. No. Prop dresser.
Prof_dresser.
I was trying to think of the underscore. Like, I'm like, do I include that or not? And then you pointed at me as I was in the middle of thinking that. So then my brain was like, hold on, I'm working on this. What is my Twitter? It's the pull list. Whatever. No, it's Prof dresser. Prof_dresser.
It is.
Yes.
Awesome.
Just like on the forums.
Yes, sir. And you can email us at comments@signedinpodcast.com. Somebody emailed us a little bit ago and wanted to know our theme song, which
Oh.
we get that every once in a while. So just as a reiteration to everybody, it's Cherry Blossom by Raptor Face. Mm-hmm. And I think I put it up on our Facebook page that you can listen to the whole song, which is fun because you only ever hear the beginning and the end. There's a whole middle there that you don't even know about.
I danced to that
You don't even
song
know.
a
It's so
lot.
different.
I danced to that song.
It's weird when I hear the full song anymore.
Well, you do that officially at the beginning of every show.
Dances?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I
Right?
know. Yeah.
He has his regular dance routine. So now when you're
Beginning of the
listening
show
to the
dance.
beginning of the show, you can imagine Sean dancing in the background because that's what he's doing.
And me
It's always
shaking my head
Well,
in
yeah,
disgust.
that is true. That is true.
It's
And,
Throughout
and
the whole
wishing
show.
and wishing you could remix your memories.
just a green ring tube sock. I mean, come on.
Oh, gross. All right, next.
It's my kind of a Silence of the Lambs dance.
I'm going to play Goodbye Horses at the end of this episode again. All right, did I tell-
We've used that one.
I know. I'm using it again. I'm not really. Next episode, we're going to talk for 4.5 hours about E3. There's not hardly. I don't think there's anything coming out Xbox 360 between now and then. So I'm gonna probably
Nothing.
I'm gonna be so inundated with playing Last of Us on PS3, which comes out this week.
Oh.
The Last of Us and the new Animal Crossing New Leaf on 3DS. So next episode, I'm only talking about PS3 and Nintendo DS games.
So we got Nintendo Steam. I might have to break.
Yeah, you bring some Steam games, Craig.
I'll break out my
Fair enough.
Nintendo 64, and I'll rock some Star Wars pod racing.
Please don't. Please don't do that.
I haven't finished that game.
We'll play, at least can we play some No Mercy 64?
I don't know.
WrestleMania 2000?
Oh, okay, sure.
One of those?
We'll never play that.
I wish. Are we done?
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Later.
you.
Bye. Yeah, you know what's up.
Yeah, you know it's us, yo.
That's your role. Yeah, you know we doing it.
Yeah, we got it here.